Yo, Hegassen here, and today we are reviewing Ant-Man and the Wasp. I really enjoyed Ant-Man, but how much do I enjoy the Wasp? Let's get into it. So Ant-Man and the Wasp. This film is very much a cat and mouse kind of film where everyone's chasing after this building. There's 4 parties involved in chasing it, but let's first of all just talk about this building, because like the first Ant-Man film, you got to take all of the science and stuff and throw it out the window, because this building makes absolutely no sense. The building is Hank Pym's building. He's one of the parties that have an interest in this, and inside of it is his lab, where he's creating a quantum tunnel to go down to the quantum world, where he thinks he can rescue his wife. He's working with his daughter Hope, and then later on they recruit Scott into it to help him. Scott's under house arrest, but they recruit him into it because he's got like a kind of a mental quantum connection with Hank's wife. It's a bit strange, but yeah, that's why Scott's there. So they're like tricking the FBI and stuff into thinking that Scott's still at his house, but he's actually helping them. But yeah, this building, it doesn't make sense. It's constantly being shrunk down to a really small size, and it opens up a lot of bizarre questions like, is it even a real building? The building has a handle in it. What's going on there? Is it a shrunk down building with a normal size handle in it? Or is it a normal size building with a giant handle in it? Either way, it doesn't really quite make sense. If it's a small building and then they put a normal handle in it, or sorry, a big building, they shrink it down to a small building and put a normal handle in it, then won't that mean that the quantum distances of both things are different, and won't that affect how it shrinks and grows and stuff? Also, this building doesn't behave like a actual building. You know, it hasn't got any foundations, yet it's the strongest building in the world. It's like getting thrown around, put into cars, people are picking it up, it gets knocked about, falls on the road, slides across it, and the building's fine, it's completely intact. Man, if there's an earthquake, that's the building that I want to hide inside. So it makes me think that it's probably not actually a real building made out of bricks and mortar and stuff, but it's never really explained what it actually is. Also, it's got to be completely self-sufficient with its own generators and its own water supply, and I'm guessing it's got like a sewage tank in there as well, and you know, maybe see a scene where Hank's emptying it out and throwing that away. But yeah, the building doesn't make sense, especially the fact that, like I say, it's getting thrown around and everything, and there's no damage being done to the building. Not even any of the glass windows break, actually. And they even used the building to smash a window, and none of the glass on the building breaks. But anyway, also nothing on the inside gets thrown around. They're throwing the building around, they walk inside and everything's perfectly normal. There's not even like a single cup falling over or anything. What's going on in that building? Take the science, scrumple it up, throw it away, because that doesn't make sense straight away. Who are the other parties going after it? Obviously, like I say, we've got Hank and stuff, but they keep getting the buildings stolen because the other parties keep taking it. First party that we've got, we have this kind of black market trader guy called Sonny Birch. He's an alright guy, he's just like a businessman, evil businessman kind of guy. Like a mobster gangster. He kind of feels like he could have just been Justin Hammer. Obviously he's in prison, but you know, they could have been like, oh yeah, he got out and he's just doing this, like he's got like a legitimate business, and then underneath he's doing this criminal stuff. I don't know, they feel very similar in terms of their characters and stuff, so maybe it would have been nice to be one of them, get some connectivity, or it could have been someone related to the Vulture Squad from Homecoming. But we got this Sonny Birch guy and he's alright. He's like kind of still around at the end, so maybe he'll come back. The other party that we got going after the building is this woman called Ghost. She's been like she's like out of phase. All her molecules are all over the place, so she can phase through stuff. I think it's called like quantum de-equalization or something like that. It's a cool little power. She wears this suit, looks kind of cool. Looks like a background character in Destiny, but yeah, again, her powers, sometimes they don't really make sense. Like, she can phase through stuff, and it's all to do with her molecules all out of whack, yet also her clothes can go out of phase and stuff, and, you know, it just seems like whatever she touches can go out of phase, but then she touches, like, Scott's face, and she goes out of phase, and he doesn't go out of phase. Don't know what's going on there. I guess it's just that movie superhero thing of whatever you're wearing is also part of your superpowers. But yeah, she's alright. She's got being helped by this guy called Bill Foster, who's an old colleague of Hank's. And we find out that he used to be the Goliath, an old superhero character. We don't actually get to see him as that. Would have been maybe nice to do it as a flashback or something. Hell, they're getting really good with this de-aging stuff now, so maybe do an old film with all of the old agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Not actually agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but, all of the old superheroes. That'd be kind of cool to see, maybe. Or, something for Disney+. Giving you that little pitch there. But yeah, they're alright. Bill Foster goes from like betraying Hank, and then right at the end he's like, "Can you help me?" And then Hank's like, "Yeah, I'll help you." Maybe he should have asked Hank at the beginning. There's like a lot of kind of fluctuating of moral values when it comes to their side. But again, they're alright. Both kind of parties going after the piece, both of the villain parties, they don't really feel like that much of a threat, or they're not really that interesting, particularly Sonny Birch's one. They're just, a bunch of fodder. We see Wasp easily beat them all up. At least Ghost does have some cool powers and stuff, and it's not another Ant-Man suit villain, so he's actually fighting someone with different powers, which is nice. The other group that we have, they're not really going after the building, they're more going after Hank and Scott, and that's the FBI. Again, it's just like a lot of fodder characters, but we have this new character introduction, Agent Woo. He's actually really fun. Him and Scott's back and forth banter is really funny. Hopefully he's a character that in the MCU, if they ever need an FBI agent, they'll go back to him, because I really enjoyed him, so I definitely hope he turns up again in the future. And then every now and then we also get Luis. He gets to do a lot more stuff in this, which is really good to see. He actually feels more like a member of the main cast. We only get one story time in this one of Luis's story time. Yeah, it's alright. It's not as good, I don't think, as the first one. Doesn't feel as fresh. But it's funny when you get to see Scott and Hope from the previous film doing it with Luis's voice. That's good. Kurt and Dave, fortunately, they don't really have much to do in this film. I think Dave maybe has like 4 lines and none of them are particularly memorable. Kurt, he has pretty much talks about Baba Yaga the entire time, but they're pretty funny scenes. I like how every time he talks about it, the music changes. That's really good. I do actually like all of their little scenes. So when they're in ex-con and they're having their banter with Scott, again, that's really good. The humour in this film is still on point. I really enjoy all of the back and forth banter and stuff. In fact, this ex-con thing, Disney Plus, again, if you're looking for a new TV series and you want a sitcom set in the superhero universe, here's an idea. I'm pitching you that one as well. Stop taking superheroes that could be on the big screen and wasting them on the small screen so they never appear. Ghost Rider. So in the pursuing chase to get the building, we do get some good little action scenes. The standout one is the car chase scene. Hank and Hope, they have cars that can shrink in size, go really small to become like little Hot Wheels cars. That's very fun. Again, it kind of makes you think like, man, they must be burning a lot of petrol when they go small and they got more distance to cover. But yeah, no, it's a good little chase scene. Ant-Man's having problems with his suit and he's going big and small throughout this film, so he can't really control it. That's fun. Scott's still a really fun, enjoyable character. Sadly, we don't get to see as much smart Scott in this film like we did in the first film. We don't really get to see any of his like I'm a great burglar and stuff in this film. He actually makes a few bad choices in this film where he's like giving away the location of the lab in its like secret hiding place to Louise, who then gets truth serumed into telling everybody where it is. So yeah, he makes a few bad choices, but he's still a very fun and likeable character. I never noticed that Ant-Man's suit has an ant head on it. You see that? Huh. Haven't talked about Wasp yet. Really good to see in this film. We never got to see her as Wasp in the last film, so here it's good to see her as Wasp. When she is Wasp, she kicks butt. Hopefully get to see more of her, but unfortunately, she gets caught in Thanos' snap. So we don't get to see her in an Avengers film, or I'm assuming we don't get to see her in an Avengers film. It would be nice, though, for one day to actually have her in there with the core team, like with the original lineup in the comics. But, still looks like we got to wait a little bit for that. But overall, what do I think about this film? Well, it's a small film, it's a fun film, coming off the back of Infinity War. It's definitely not that, great big grand film. It's definitely much smaller. Fortunately, it feels a little bit inconsequential. I'm sure, the quantum stuff will play a role later on. By the way, at the end of the film, yeah, Hank goes down to the quantum realm and gets his wife, and his wife now has magical quantum superpowers which can heal ghosts, so like plot convenient powers, I guess. That's a bit strange, so I guess she's a superhero now. Also, he went down to the quantum world, and in the first film he said that he can't do that anymore because it's taken a toll on him, and he does it here, and he comes out and it doesn't seem like it's had any effect on him, so I guess that's out the window. But yeah, anyway, overall the film, yeah, it's not as good. It's definitely not as good as the first one. Like I say, it just kind of feels a little bit inconsequential. I feel like for the time being you can kind of skip it. You know, obviously Ant-Man is going to be in Endgame and stuff, so there is stuff in this film that are going to have impact later on. But for now, at least, it's just like a fun watch. I'd say, for me, Ant-Man and the Wasp is probably only a blue tier. And part of the reason for this, it's not even really the film's fault, it was the promotion of this film. But the promotion of this film really spoilt a lot of the big action scenes in this. In fact, pretty much all of the scenes in which they're playing around with the Ant-Man stuff, you know, shrinking stuff, making stuff big, it's all in the trailers. So when you go into the film, there's none of them surprises like there were in the first film. You know, like Infinity War, there were so many secrets in that film. Even when you go into the cinema, you're like, oh my god, Red Skull's in this. He wasn't in the trailers. And in this one, you go for it and you're like, oh yeah, that was in the trailer, that was in the trailer, that was in the trailer. In fact, look. Okay, so I'm just going to play the first trailer here. We're going to have a look at it and see what kind of scenes there are. Also here at the beginning we just get some flashbacks to Civil War and Ant-Man in that, where, you know, obviously from this he went under house arrest, and in here Hope's talking about, well, you should have taken me with you. Yeah, take her with you. So look, we get into it. Yeah, we get with the house arrest stuff, the FBI here, and the little bits with his family, but I really want to focus on the shrinking stuff. So this is the very first trailer, and boom, we see the fact that there's a shrinking building, that the shrinking building has a handle in it and wheels. Where were the wheels, by the way? Were they in the floor? Because there's no hole. We see the quantum device there. We get a little shot of the Hot Shots car in the background there, Hot Wheels, sorry, and obviously he's going to fly on an ant. And then here, talking about cars, we see the shrinking car there in the trailer, and the scene where it goes underneath one and flips it up. We see giant Ant-Man in the trailer when he's massive, and there it is, there's a Hot Wheels car again. And we see some more stuff in the quantum world with the tardigrades. And yeah, we get some more of the kitchen stuff. We don't get the salt scene in this, but we get it in a later trailer. But look, we get the knife scene where she dodges the knives, which is really cool. The only other thing we get is the potato masher bit really in that scene. And then, you know, just more stuff, yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp logo. And of course, right at the end, we get the Pez scene. So really, the only stuff that we didn't get in the trailers, or at least none of the ones I saw, was the stuff in the school. So all of it got spoilt before the film even came out. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Ant-Man and the Wasp overall. And with that, that for the time being completes my Marvel Cinematic Universe rewatch series. Going to see Endgame tonight. Cannot wait. I'll put some reviews out for that over the weekend. And now I just got to wait for Captain Marvel to come out on Blu-ray. I did do a review when I first saw it in the cinema. It's one of my very first videos, so it's I'm going to be honest, it's not one of my best. It's a little bit rusty in places, but doing this series has been great learnings for me. I've really enjoyed it. And yeah, when Marvel comes out, Captain Marvel comes out on Blu-ray, I'll re-review that as part of this. Equally, I'll do the same for Endgame as well, and all other future Marvel movies too. I might even also do Venom, as that's like a adjacent film kind of to the MCU. It is in the MCU, it's not in the MCU. But anyway, let me know what you think. If any other superhero films you want me to do in a similar format to this, let me know down in the comments below. Hey, so thanks for watching. What did you think? Let me know about it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed my video, maybe give it a like. And if you really liked it, why not subscribe? You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram and Twitch. Oh, and here's a related video you might enjoy, and something more fresh. I've been Hegassen, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!